Yo, what is going on? What has happened, family? Black Baseball Mixtape. We are back. Monday crew is here, minus one individual, but we get to that later. My name is Lobo Boys, and I, for one, am excited to talk to you about the world of baseball because it's World Baseball Classic Week, and that is just the tip of the iceberg of what's happening. But as always, I'm not alone. I couldn't do this whole show alone. I'm with the elite. I'm with the people on top of the game when it comes to figuring out what's going on with the culture and the game on the diamond. Please welcome the Monday crew. Give it up. First of all, got to give it up to our fearless reporter on the ground this weekend, Miss April. What's going on? What's going on in 10th inning?
Hey everyone. So yes, I was actually at Dyken Park all weekend for the Bruce Bolt College Baseball Classic. It was a great experience. I'll be sharing quite a bit of content with you, so be on the lookout for that on, of course, TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, and my podcast. I will be having a brand new podcast episode featuring,
Let's go. Let's go.
featuring VP for Bruce Bolt, Eric Mays, and he's also the GM for the Atlanta Smoke. So exciting times are on the way.
That's what's up. Bruce got some good designs out there. I mean, if I was
Yes.
athletic, I'd probably buy a pair, but I like the way the way this
Excuse
was. But
Yes.
also, we got the in-house statistician, the man with the ear to the ground, and also right on the Substack. We'll talk about that later. Yo, Butterman Kane, what's good, baby?
Oh, we're doing good. We're doing fantastically. The World Baseball Classic is coming up in Houston. Houston's getting a lot of traffic. We got the
Well, we know.
WBC. We got the FIFA. What was that? The World
World
Cup
Cup.
coming down
Yes.
here,
Yeah.
tearing up all the roads. So it's been quite busy, but we're getting locked in and getting ready to watch some international baseball. And I'm so excited. It'll be my first time attending this event, and then April will be on the ground as well. So we're getting our reporter boots on. Gonna see what we can get from this event. It's gonna be exciting.
Yeah, and
Yeah, I
we'll be
mean,
at some games together too. So if y'all see Malik and I, make sure you shout us out.
oh
Yes,
yeah,
please
for
say
real.
hi. I'll be around.
Yeah, I gotta see you in person. But like, I feel like we haven't connected
It's
in real
time.
space because we gotta do that. But not Houston though. That place is too humid for me. I can't. I
Hey
can't.
man, I got a
I
couch,
can't.
Listen,
and
I
we have
can't.
a
It's the
fan.
humidity, man. I'll be stuck to that couch. It is hot out there, bro. Like,
It's okay. It's okay. We have tarp. It's all right. You just lay on that. It'll be okay.
yo. So let's get on into it, man. Top story this week is World Baseball Classic. Every 3 years, the World Series gets its own literal team. I know your friends who don't watch baseball always say, "Is that really the World Series? They want to really play South America." Well, guess what? You got 16 countries in the tournament. Some cool stories, some stories we'll get into. Of course, I'm rooting for one team. Check it out because all those guys are part time. And as you can tell, I'm wearing the Nicaragua shirt. Shout out to Baseball Aficionado Santos for the gear hookup. Mark Vientos is going to do it all. Look, I'm gonna start with you, April. I know you excited, but as a Dodger fan, are you rooting for Team Japan?
unfortunately, that's going to be a no. However, comma, I will be cheering on. Put it like this: I'll be rooting for Japan when they play in Pool C. Outside of Pool C, which I think we all know they're gonna win because they have a 99% chance of winning. Uh, it's back to the home country. That's just what it is.
So you're gonna dip off and root for Japan for a bit to come back?
Oh no, no, no. I feel like, and this is something that obviously we're going to talk about. I think for each pool, I have a team that I'm necessarily like, I want to say cheering for, but I have an idea of who I think will win. So I'm going to go along with that. But of course, I'm always excited. I am always excited to see Yamamoto pitch. I don't
Yeah.
think y'all really, that part is just always exciting for me. But when it comes to who I'm truly rooting for, it's Team USA. I'm going with the home team. So
Yeah, it is interesting. I mean, I'm not saying I didn't write Namamoto off, but his first season was solid, but okay. But you said he was Cy Young track, and I was like, I don't know.
yeah,
He became the hero of like the entire playoff. So
yeah.
April knows ball. I don't.
A little
Malik,
bit.
let me start with you, man. Look, are you a little Team USA or you have another team underneath the radar, just on top? Just let me know what you're rooting for.
Okay, so there's teams that are going to win this tournament, and I think they're in a short list. We have an idea that that might be the case. And for that reason, I do not want to go for the USA. I want to go for a team That is not my home country.
Oh,
I want to go for its old grandpa, the Great Britain, and then the reason why,
amazing.
because this is a
Tell us
lineup, and
why.
this is in Pool B. We
Sir,
will.
sir, Great Britain, sir.
Oh
Grandpa,
yeah.
their old grandpa. So we have Great Britain has a pretty interesting roster with some Afro players. You know, we got Gary Gill Hill is on the team. He's a prospect from the Rays organization. I believe that Jazz Chisholm is going to be leading the charge at second base. Harry Ford is behind the plate. Oh,
Mm.
Christian Robinson on his comeback tour, he's going to be playing outfield. Ivan Johnson, Lucius Fox, BJ Murray, Ian Lewis. This is a black team. So I think it would just be off brand for me not to root for Great Britain. And so I'm going for Great Britain this tournament. I'm going to try to catch as many games as possible that they're playing in Houston.
All right, so we got to talk about pools and who's going to go ahead. But before we do that, we got to give a shout out to anyone and ever those who make this show a possibility and reality. The Players Alliance, their attendance support has really helped us to build this from the ground up. Minority prospects, and of course, number of game scorecards. They're portable cards you can take to the ballpark where you can score games in real time. Numbersgame.co. Use a promo code Black Baseball Mixtape. That's singular, Black Baseball Mixtape for a little bit off the top. Tell them Flopito sent you. Houston host Pool B action. And let's get into it because we're going to go through the pools here and see who has the advantage. We're going to start with B out of order because we got two Houston residents or natives. Are you guys natives? I don't even know if you are. But
No, I'm a
residents.
Louisiana
Yes,
girl living in a
yes.
Texas world.
Okay. See, now I know. Now we know the lore. So let's start with Pool B, actually. 5 teams in there. We're trying to see who advances, but I think the U.S. always advances automatically there because they are the home squad. But the United States, Mexico, Italy, Great Britain, and Brazil. Now, this one here is kind of lopsided because the United States is pretty much pegged to either win it or be in the championship game. And Brazil, by all rankings and estimation, is the weakest team in the entire tournament. So United States, Mexico, Italy, Great Britain, and Brazil. Butterman, I know you're rooting for the granddad, but if you had to pick a second team out this group, who would you go for?
Oh yeah. Okay. So I might have to go with Abuela. So
What?
Mexico, another country that's older than the United
Are
States.
you kidding me,
These
man?
are so Mexico is a sleeper team. Let's look at this lineup. We have Aranda playing first base.
Hmm.
He went off last year in 2025. We have Joey Ortiz manning shortstop, Rowdy Tellez. I think that might be a team you got to look for because you got Randy Rosarena, who is also a WBC superstar. Jaron Duran, he got a little chip on his shoulder, hearing all the trade rumors. I know he does. So I think that Team Mexico is a team that we got to look forward to, at least seeing put up some offense. Now, I don't know about the pitching,
Right.
but that's kind of everyone's plight in this
Hmm.
tournament. So I'm going to have to go with Mexico.
I say this not to be funny at all, but how good of a job does a Rosarena have to be before he's considered one of the greatest players to don the Mexico jersey? You think?
How good does he have to be in this tournament? I think he's gonna have to be this team's at least their second best player. Just with the bravado and the swag, because I think that the WBC, unlike many other games that we see during the regular season, or it's more like a playoff environment. So I believe the players are really feeding off the energy of the crowd. We're in Texas, and so having that strong Mexican contingent that's going to show up to the games is
Mhm.
really going to put a fire under this team. And so I think Randy's like his bravado, his swag, the way that he carries himself on the field, and the way he interacts with the fans at the stands is really going to hype the team up. And so he's going to have to take advantage of the home crowd advantage being in Houston. And so I think that he's going to be a big spark plug on this team.
All right. So do I have this right? I'm asking, who do you think is going to advance? And you're saying Great Britain and Mexico, or this is the teams you're rooting for? Like,
Okay, I'm not.
I got to
So
make sure. I got to put you on the record.
okay, so on the record, I want Great Britain to advance. Those are brothers. If
Okay.
you're
All
asking
right.
me for a team that can be the dark horse, that is Mexico. If you're asking me for a team that's going to win this pool, it's the US of A.
You need two to advance.
I'm
Actually, I
about to say two
misspoke.
advance.
Yeah, two
So
advance. I
Two events.
misspoke.
All
Home
right.
team does not get an automatic berth. Two
All right.
top
So
two
it's going to be
teams.
Mexico and the USA. Want
All
Great Britain to slip in there, though.
right. April, please be the voice of reason. Please be the voice of reason. What you got for Pool B?
I let me tell y'all, I was debating on which game I wanted to go to because I'm like, I want to try to go to as many USA games to cheer our people on. I got fits ready for it and everything, but looked at the first night and I was like, don't think I want to pay even the cheapest amount to go to USA versus Brazil.
What's the get-in price? I'm just curious. I don't have tickets. I'm not going. How much is it to get in?
The cheapest is around like $30 for that game, like 30, maybe 40. Yeah. So I am not. It's not a. It didn't move me as much, but seeing Cheat say that Great Britain versus Mexico, that's a different story. So that might be something to really, really look into. But not even just USA versus I'm sorry, Great Britain versus Mexico on Friday. Also, I do believe USA is going to we know they're gonna come out. I think Mexico, as Malik said, I do think that they are a sleeper team. They were a really good team in 2023. So for them, it's just maximizing even more, especially after having the experience to apply that in this particular year. I am excited to see Great Britain. Once I saw Jazz was gonna be there, that was one of probably my favorite game that I'm gonna go to, USA versus Great Britain. Not gonna lie. And then I'm debating on Italy. I feel like if we're doing like I think a ranking of how this is gonna end up, I have USA 1, Mexico 2, Great Britain 3, Italy 4, and Brazil 5. That is my ranking for Pool B. But nonetheless, I'm excited that we are hosting, and I think that it's going to be some really, really good games.
Yeah, it's interesting. Of all the pools, and you know me, I love hot takes. I love upsets. Pool B is the one I'm pretty sure that's going to be who you think it's going to be. It has to be USA and Mexico, right? Because if Brazil advances, I feel like everyone would be like, well, there we go. We wasn't planning that at all. You know what I'm saying? And I like Great Britain too. I like the fact that I have two co-captains and both of them are black, man. But I mean, would I sit Mexico? I don't know. Like, would that be fun to see Japan versus Great Britain down the line? Probably not, you know? But I got USA, Mexico as well.
I also want to say when we talk about this, the one issue, and I think Malik, or I don't remember which one brought it up, pitching is going to be the really big thing for this tournament. Whose pitchers show up in the games in the right moment? So for all of us who are watching, that is something that we need to be aware of. And I think that for USA, this is obviously something that may fare well for them.
Yeah, let's talk about that. I mean, the rotation as it is right now, Logan Webb, Turk Skubal, Paul Skeens, and technically a rookie, Nolan McLean being in the rotation there. I mean, I don't want to jinx the United States, but it does feel like they may mow down everyone in Pool B.
I agree. And that rotation has to be one of the best. I mean, last rotation was pretty shaky considering who we had, but knowing that we have some good people coming off in the, Kirsch is he's decided to declare his loyalty to the WBC too. I think Yarbrough is in there as well. So I think that is going to be the defining moment. And for teams outside of Pool B, that is where they are struggling. They couldn't get clearance. They have insurance issues or what have you. So for USA, I really think that this is their moment to be able to shine. But other teams, the thing is, you can be a great pitcher, but what those bats looking like in that batter's box?
Oh, yeah. And speaking about batters and being available, I mean, just being able to step up to the opportunity and the whole idea of playing for your country. Puerto Rico has made headlines for insurances more than their play, but in Pool A in San Juan, they're in Group A against Panama, Cuba, Canada and Colombia. Now, Canada is not playing with stalwart Freddie Freeman, decided to focus on his body. Cuba is hamstrung because a lot of the sports staff were denied visas entries for the tournament, which kind of is another issue altogether in this global climate. And Panama is a team that's kind of fun to watch, but I really think they kind of end in the group stage myself. If I was a bet man, which I kind of sadly am, I'm saying Puerto Rico and Colombia advance. Malik, would say you?
Okay. So that I think that Puerto Rico is going to be really hamstrung by not having some of their best players. Don't get me wrong; they still have Nolan
Right.
Arenado. They still have some stars on that team. But I think that that's going to leave some blood in the water for other teams to sniff upon. And I think that team would be Canada. I don't think we can sleep on Canada too much. They have some intriguing fringe prospects on their team. Don't forget they also have Josh Naylor, who's a playoff
Mhm.
hero. Owen Casey, who's trying to make a name for himself with the Marlins this year.
Yep.
Edward Julian, who is these is like a lot of players with chips on their shoulders on this team. Tyler Black, who's seeming like he's not going to be able to break into the Milwaukee roster with all these prospects coming above him. Otto Lopez. I think that the Team Canada is a team we might have to consider. And their pitching isn't that terrible. You got James Tyone, Logan Allen, Michael Soroka. So I think they have a few more arms that can probably, fill the gap in for just kind of this barren. I'm not going to call this division or this pool barren, but it's losing a little bit of punch with Puerto Rico not being as powerful as we're accustomed to them being in this tournament.
To be fair to you, Canada, according to MLB, is ranked at number 8 in this tournament over Colombia at number 9. So I don't know. I mean, I like the idea. April, would say you?
I was actually going back to look up that roster because whenever I saw it, I saw the Nailers on the list. And then there's also Tyler O'Neill. There is Denzel Clark as well. I absolutely believe that this is a team that we should not sleep on. Now, I saw Puerto Rico when I saw the baseball aficionado post them with that blonde hair. I was like, well, we know what time it is. Because
And what time is that, April?
it's time to play some ball. In my opinion, 2023, Puerto Rico was the most exciting team to watch.
Agreed.
In the WBC. There is not another team that I look, even more than my own team, that I look forward to watching because everybody having the hair, everybody, the excitement that they brought, it was like they were really in sync as a team. And I feel like that was part of the reason why they made it out of Pool D. You could see and feel the unity amongst that team. And I believe that with Puerto Rico, I feel like there is some blood in the water, but I feel like they're taking it personally. And so they want to show that even without the people who won't be able to attend, that they can still make an impact in this World Baseball Classic. But if you're asking me what 2 teams I have coming out or my ranking, I have Puerto Rico, Canada. I go back and forth between. I would say Colombia, Cuba, and then Panama. That would be mine.
Well, I just got to say,
but I also put Cuba and Colombia as well.
Wait. So you got Cuba and Colombia going to advance, or are you saying they are?
No. Puerto Rico and Canada are my 2 to advance.
Oh, okay, got you. So they're playing Pool A plays in Puerto Rico at Heron Bithorn Stadium, which is the smallest capacity at 19,000, but oddly the second largest venue. I thought was kind of surprising. Long balls would be the advantages there. The small ball play. I still got to get the PR in Colombia, but that's because I think it just has that new rivalry budding. But if Canada gets through, I wouldn't be mad. I wouldn't be like, dang, Canada, why? You know what I mean? Do it for Freddie. You know what I'm saying? Do
it for Freddie.
Now, I've talked about Pool D, and I can't wait to get to that. But let's get to Pool C first, because this one here is going to be in Tokyo, where the vibes are going to be crazy. If you don't know much about the WBC, try to watch Pool C play, because Asian venues are different, or venues in Asia. The venues themselves aren't Asian, but the venues in Asia are just a whole other vibe altogether, with the cheers and the chants. It's just kind of vibes. Japan, South Korea, Australia, Czechia, and Chinese Taipei. Talk about storylines. Japan wants to repeat. Australia wants to put themselves back on the map. We all know the Czech team are a bunch of part timers who are like dentists and plumbers who do all that. And Taipei is always represented differently in sport. April, I'm going to start with you. Besides Japan, who do you got advancing in this one?
First off, my beloved Shohei and Yamamoto, I just want you to know while you are in Pool C, your girl is cheering for you. However, comma, once you come out of that pool, it's all Team USA. But in the midst of that, it will be Team Japan. And I looked at the percentages that were out there. They have Japan coming out like 99% rating of them like doing their thing. But if we're talking about the second team to come out of Pool C, for me, I think it's really hard to go up against Korea. I think that they also are really, really hungry for what's to come. And, I got to give a shout out to my guy, Hassan Kim, who plays for the Dodgers as well. He will be competing in this particular tournament. So those are my two that I have coming out of this particular pool. And the way I have it written is probably how I see it: Japan, Korea, Australia, Chinese, Taipei, and Czechia.
The closest thing to a blood feud in world baseball is South Korea versus Japan. I mean, you got to go
Right.
check out those videos. And so I hope we get that again, even in the tournament stage. But the group stage is going to be a whole movie,
It is.
But man,
I'm thinking. I watched a video recently on two players that are playing for Team Korea, and I think we need to pay attention to them because I think that the Korean pipeline of players is starting to grow. As in the MLB, we're seeing more players come over here, so I think that's definitely a team we need to watch that could even win this entire pool against Japan. I think they could beat Japan and take them, and so
Mhm.
but I think we also need to pay attention to Chinese Taipei with some of the players that they have. They have Yu Chang. He's actually a WBC hero. He also has locks again. We'll talk about that later. And we got Jonathan Long. He's actually a infield prospect for the Cubs that's actually hit so well. He's actually their minor league player of the year. And so I'm really intrigued by their team as well because they have I think people forget about them, as the other team out of Asia, but I think they have some intriguing offensive players. I think they also have Yao Hao Yu Lee, who is a Detroit prospect who is trying to knock on the door of some of those other players that are coming up in that pool. So let's pay attention to them. But it's going to be Japan and Korea in this one all the way.
no, let's talk about it now, man. Because you sent us a picture of Yu Chang in the group chat, and and it threw me off. I was like, hold up, who
Yu
is this?
Chang has been playing Chinese professional baseball since 2024. He did play a little bit for the for the no no for the Boston Red Sox for like a little bit. Got injured, and he's been playing Chinese baseball. So he's in China with locks, doing his thing. Yeah, So maybe we can get an interview with him. We can talk about our lock journey together.
He's like, say moisturize. Like, oh, I was
Yeah,
telling y'all, I'm
yeah.
telling y'all.
He was
So,
definitely gonna. We're definitely gonna have to get a translator,
yo,
or actually,
I have
he
a
might be able to chat with us. I
yeah,
haven't
it might
seen
be
him
good.
interview.
So,
I have a
question.
question.
Oh,
Wasn't
no.
Chinese Taipei weren't they trying to compete to get into the WBC?
Yeah,
I
they were
feel
in the
like
qualifier tournament.
yes, because I remember watching them and they were, you're not lying, they were really exciting to watch. So they too bring the excitement and the heat for it. And yeah, I might have to move them up above Australia because I it just came to me when you were talking about certain names
Yeah.
about what that looked like. I definitely remember them.
Yeah, I feel like Australia is like the whole world is waiting for Australia to step up, which is great, and I hope they do. But
Right.
Chinese Taipei has like the ability to do something
Hmm.
crazy. Malik, let me ask you this, man, because you're like a resident historian. Does Stuart Fairchild have an opportunity to be this tournament's Lars Nootbaar?
Yes, I think so. He's always been kind of this player that's been tossed to the side a little bit from rosters. Always the fourth or fifth outfielder in every team. He's always hit well against lefty pitching and has defended very well in center field. And so I think he has a chance to shine on this team a little bit how I guess Yu Chang shined on Chinese Taipei in 2023 at the very beginning. I think that team kind of galvanized behind his energy. And so, I mean, Stuart Fairchild is a player that is going to always catch every ball in the outfield. He can play all three positions. And so he's always going to have a job as long as he's able to catch the ball and maybe hit at somewhat of a decent level. But
Mhm.
this could put a good spotlight on him for teams to be like, "Huh, this is a really good player. Maybe we should have gave him up."
I think when it's all said and done, Chinese Taipei is going to be that WWF match where the guy loses the title, but then
Mhm.
stands up and gets a standing ovation. Like, yo, you did it, John Cena. You amazing. Like, I think that's going
Yeah,
to be them, but
yeah.
it has to be Korea and Japan. Like, I think the game, the Asian game, the world game has to see those guys advance. I mean, the team's just too good. And if Japan doesn't advance, that right there would upset the apple cart. I think Rob Manfred would be sweating in his office. That would be the
Let me
case.
tell
You
you
know what I'm saying?
something. I know this probably is a good way to segue into the next one. Everybody said that about Dominican Republic in 2023. And there were a lot of hurt feelings in 2023 when the team that was literally projected to possibly win it all did not even make it out of Pool D. The North remembers very, very well. Every single broadcaster, all I heard was Dominican Republic, Dominican Republic, Dominican Republic. And so with these pools, I think that it's important for us that like we can make predictions, but when you get on the field, what does that chemistry look like amongst these players? Because these are people, they're not used to playing on a regular basis either. And putting that together in these tournaments, it's great. And I love witnessing it as a fan, but it doesn't always guarantee the win that you assume.
I'm glad you said that because when I said that 4 months ago, everyone was like, What do you mean? It's Republica?" And I was like, "Nope. Day one, they're going to play the team I'm rooting for, and that is Nicaragua. Dusty Baker, man. That's the first game of the tournament. I'm telling you, chemistry matters, especially in this tournament. The Dominican Republic, like Puerto Rico, has some personnel issues. They're going against a team. Venezuela is also as strong as them, but they also had insurance issues. So that might be kind of interesting. I have Venezuela advancing and Nicaragua because Mark Vientos is in it. Dusty Baker is in it. No one's looking for Nicaragua, man. I got the shirt on. Shout out to Baseball Aficionado. I am bought in. I am getting them. I'm getting all the merch. And when they win the tournament, I'm getting the tournament, but they're getting out of the group. And that's going to be Nicaragua and Venezuela. I don't know, but man, what you think?
I hate this narrative, y'all. I'm sorry. I hate it.
Which ones? There's so
How
many.
can the USA team literally has the Avengers together, and no one is ever saying, "Oh, are they gonna play well together? Are they gonna mesh? Are they gonna be able to hit? Are they gonna be able to pass the bat down the lineup and not be selfish?" And then we got I know that the Dominican probably got some guys, and they all wearing expensive cologne in there. I know they might clash. The smells and the scents might clash in the clubhouse, but we got Julio Rodriguez on this team. We have Fernando Tatis on this team. Come on now. I
Yeah.
think that they're going to actually advance this time. I think that it's time for them to kind of spell all those narratives saying that, oh, they're not going to, put it all together just because there's too many stars. I think that this team has the potential to kind of, quiet the naysayers. Let's see what they do. But Venezuela is also not a sleeper team as well. That's not a team I wouldn't even say that's a team anyone's sleeping on. But I think that Dominican is gonna go and win this tournament, and then we have Venezuela coming in behind them, and then we'll see how it goes between those other three teams.
You know what? I think I was trying to be like, no, it's different, Malik. But the more I think about it, I think it's really more of a cultural thing, right? Because Americans are always like the American team is always like, you head down, play the right way, yada yada yada. And I guess because of the flash of the Dominican Republic and how they seem to be more natural at it, there's an expectation that they're not as achieving as they are. But I will say this though, as good as that team is, I can't account for 2023. I thought for sure they would have been in that final game.
Yes.
Well, does history repeat itself? I don't know. Give or take a couple of
Mhm.
insurance issues, you know.
True.
But
I
hey,
I will say too, I don't think that I actually see more people saying DR. Like DR is taking it, like they are coming out of that pool. When I looked at the percentage rates, they had DR at 80% and then Venezuela at 75%. I do think, look at this roster, and you have, of course, Soto, Julio Rodriguez, Tatis, Marte, uh Guerrero, Manny Machado, and Wells, and what, Junior Caminero. Yes, this year it may be the year where they ultimately take it. But I think for me, and I just feel like I was so excited in 2023 because I too fell for the hype of what everyone was saying. And y'all, it wasn't that they didn't even come out of the pool, it was how they lost. Like, it wasn't even like they weren't close to coming out of it. The team that I thought DR was going to be ultimately ended up being Puerto Rico. And so
Whoa, that's fighting words in New York. You can't be saying that out loud.
I said what I said. I
Is that what
said
you
it.
said?
He's from the dirty
I'm not
south. We do
April.
not care.
Talk.
Send me the
Yo,
DM so
Dominicans,
I
y'all
can
Puerto
remind
Rican.
y'all again. Because we all watched it, and y'all can't tell me what I'm saying is wrong. But to see Venezuela, if I'm not mistaken, I think Venezuela went undefeated in that pool. Do I think this year will be different? Most likely. But I want to tell y'all, the team that I think everyone is sleeping on is the Netherlands. And the Netherlands have Jurickson Profar, they have Rafaela, they have Xander Bogart, they have Gregorius, they have Ozzy Albies. They have put together a pretty good team as well. And with the insurance issues that we've seen happen with Venezuela, I went in thinking that maybe Venezuela will be the team to ultimately come out of this. Venezuela, who has Acuna and Jackson Churio, Abreu, Luis Arias, Suarez, Torres, Jimenez. Like, we know all these players.
So just to
But
jump in real quick, in 2023, Venezuela did win undefeated in pool play
yes,
with 23 runs for, 9 runs against. Absolute mammoth numbers.
it was insane. And I remember being like, what am I with? I remember calling my dad and I'm like, we were all fooled. Like, our focus was on the one team, but no one talked about Venezuela. And so I think that is the other thing. And I think this is why shows like this are important to highlight all teams so that we aren't, like, not saying that they're not going to show up. Because like I said, I do believe the Dominican Republic is coming out of this pool this year. But I'm not too sure of who that number 2 team is. And I'm telling y'all, do not sleep on the Netherlands. I know that Flovo is team Nicaragua, but your girl me, I think I'm gonna roll with the Netherlands as my second team. That's what I am. But I don't think that there's a wrong answer for that second team either, because I think that this is just a really stacked pool, and I'm happy for anybody who gets to experience it.
Real talk. This is what the WBC is for, right? Like, I mean, yeah, the team that you want to win wins, but like the Czechia, that story has just been fun to watch and root for if you're kind of that kind of thing as well. But I got a question one here, kind of taking a step back and doing the opposite. So MLB.com had their rankings of power rankings of WBC attendees. I'm gonna read you the bottom 5, and I want you to. I'm gonna ask a question of the bottom 5 that I mentioned. Who do you think is going to, outkick the coverage or just over deliver or just go beyond expectations? So MLB has Brazil ranked 20th, Nicaragua 19th. You know my answer. Czechia at 18, Israel at 17, Australia at 16. So Australia, Israel, Czechia, Nicaragua, and Brazil. April, what do you think? What do you think of those 5 teams really going to come out here and be like, oh, wow, we kind of wrote them off?
I'm not gonna lie to you. I mean, that's about right to me. I don't think too much. Like, I told you, I checked the roster and I'm like, maybe it's gonna be a hard pass for me. I'm not gonna be.
Wow, you just hating on Harrison Beta. Okay.
So, but if I was trying to spend my money, if I'm being honest, especially in today's economy, I'm not breaking the bank. I would use that money for parking and snacks rather than going to the game. Please don't
Wow.
be upset at me for saying this. I'm just
What?
not like, I'm excited about it, but like I'm not gonna be like I'm planning on to based on who else is playing in the tournament too. Like that Wednesday night, that's Venezuela, Dominican Republic. I will be seated and present. I will
Right.
not be going anywhere else.
Okay. So you're not gonna. So those 5 teams I mentioned, all of them are pretty much gonna show up at expectation. None of them is
They're
going
going
to
to
like
show
surprise.
up. They're
Okay.
going to represent their countries, and then they will go back home.
All right, to be fair, Brazil did beat Germany on the last qualification day. It wasn't like they were just got a free pass. Like, they had to qualify. I'm just all right. Malik, come on. What do you think of the 5 teams I mentioned? Any one of them seems kind of surprising to you, or nah? Not you, not really.
I want to see. I was like, was it Czechia? Was that one
Yeah,
of the five?
Australia,
Okay,
Israel, Czechia, Nicaragua, and Brazil.
okay. I want to see what Czechia is because last WBC we saw Shohei Otani strike out on I think a 79-mile-per-hour fastball.
Try to
Mm-hmm.
be hero.
And I just want to see that. I just want to see these guys spin the Team Japan's lineup as much as they can. But I think at the end of the day, this is a kind of a player's watch. So if you have a favorite player that I guess out of all of those teams that you want to kind of pinpoint, I think that's what you're gonna have to do with all 5 of these teams. Like you
Mm-hmm.
mentioned Harrison Bader. I mean, I'm not trying to tune in to see that, but at the same time,
Wow.
someone will. Someone will. So if
Someone will. That's
someone will. So I think that these are teams that are there. They're going to play their hardest. There's going to be some nice stories out of them, and we're going to make this tournament more interesting. And so I think that it's good that they're here because it makes the WBC way more interesting. We're going to see guys get struck out on small like on 78 mile per hour fastballs and just some ridiculous plays that are going to be made by these teams. So I'm excited to just have them in the like. I'm glad you're here.
all right. Well, the hate real between the both of y'all, but okay. So mostly everyone has simulated the final will be a repeat of 2023. Japan, USA. If you guys remember how it ended, I know Mike Trout remembers how that ended. The question on the wall is this: I don't. I know who you want to win April, but do Japan repeat or do the United States get their Redeem Team Tour revenge arc?
I don't even know if Japan gonna look. I think it's a great idea to assume that Japan is gonna make this final. But after I just named what's happening in Pool D, you got to get through them teams first. You got to get
Okay.
through those players first. And so I'm not ready to declare that either of those is going to the finals until I see that. I think also once we see like the teams play at least 2 games, it'll be we'll have a greater idea of it. But being that Japan plays their quarterfinal in Miami, I think that's also going to be, well, when they win, they'll play their quarterfinal in Miami. I think that'll be a good thing. But are people assuming Japan's going to make it there? Yes.
Yeah.
Do I think it's an easy guarantee, even though I love those players? No, because the rosters in Pool D are extremely scary. And look, don't sleep on that Mexico team. I'm telling y'all.
Oh, okay. So let me ask you then: who do you think is going to be in the final? If you had to pick 2 teams right now that you predict to be in the finals, who do you got? Don't pick Harrison Bader now. You wrote him off.
Oh,
Yeah.
and I'm not. I'm not. You don't got to worry about that one. I might do. I feel like I just have to root for the home team. I have to. I even got a new charm. Like it's Team Nats
Okay.
/ Team USA. But I'm gonna go USA. I have to see how the brackets go. Maybe DR. I think DR might make it this year. I think they might make it.
All right. I know it's always weird rooting for America sometimes, but I mean, but let me ask you this, man. I know you want Abuela. I know you want a granddad, but if you had to predict the final of this Euro Baseball Classic, do you have the USA in there? Who would you pick instead?
I'm seeing USA because I think USA is a little he's a little rabbit this year. The way that how these guys were so excited to be on this team,
Yeah.
it's a little scary. So I think that the USA is
Mhm.
gonna they're gonna muscle their way into the final somehow, some way. And I think that it's gonna be USA versus DR.
See?
See, that's a
Mhm.
good point because I know, especially in 2023, there was all that controversy. Oh, I mean, controversy, that chatter about the importance of playing in the World Baseball Classic. You would hear the phrase, it's a meaningless tournament. Edwin Diaz's ruptured patella was everyone's
Mhm.
example of how dangerous it can be. The insurance thing comes out. But I will say this as somebody who is not an elite athlete, the opportunity to play for your country is like pretty major. And I'm so glad there's more people now than ever. Where yeah, I'll do it. Like if I get hurt now, I get hurt now. If I get hurt in March, I get hurt in March, and that makes it that much better. It may not stay in March, but I do think that this year it feels like the players on the field want to be there, even the
Mhm.
guys who are riding the bench. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
But yeah, I got USA Japan. I got the redo. I got the part two. I think it's cool. Does USA get it back? I want to say yeah, but then last night I was watching Ito highlights and I was like, I don't know,
Mhm.
man. Like,
Yeah.
what was I doing, man? I don't know.
And then did
You
you see
wanna
them play against the I think it was that the Buffaloes for an exhibition game. I think
Yeah.
team they just missed out on one run at the very end, a very back to back game. But I think Japan is they definitely want to go back to back, and so we
Right.
got to definitely give it to them for just
Mhm.
wanting to keep that title going. So I think they're also have just as much hunger as these other two teams.
You want to know
Yeah.
one of the most beautiful things about this tournament too is most within Major League Baseball and even college baseball, you're playing a tournament where you have the whole weekend. So you have 3 games to play against these teams. It's not like that. It's literally you win and you get the W in the win column or you get the L. So you might see that team again in the quarters and maybe the semis, but there's no guarantee. So when you show up in that game, you have to show up with your best. And if you don't, like that very well could be it. And that's what I love about the WBC. And I hope that that is the thing that draws more people in to this particular tournament.
I wonder if it'd be helpful or a hindrance if they did a lot what the World Cup does. I mean, like official theme songs and tours and showing people like giant watch parties. Do you need more of that, you think, to make the hype real? Or is it just because the nature of the sport is so different that it has to just be its own thing and it's going to be a slow burn? Because I feel like there's some pageantry that gets lost because once you get out of Asia, we don't really cheer the same way as like the Caribbean counterparts or the Asian counterparts or the Mexican counterparts. I feel like that kind of impacts things. I don't know.
I loved it, and I think that was one of the things that they tried to bring into MLB. But there are some people in their traditions of what is sportsmanlike. It interferes with that part of the game. But I hope that that is something that, like I said, attracts more people. One of my students is literally making me pants for the WBC. So
Hold on, wait, what? I beg
yeah.
your pardon. Like,
So
what does that even mean? Like parachute pants or like costume or like?
no, I have some regular jeans, but
Okay.
it's getting painted with like Dodgers, LSU. I'm
Oh,
gonna
okay,
have like
okay.
stars and stuff on it, so I'll have it decorated. But it's the whole aura of embracing what the World Classic is as a fan of the game, whether I'm college, whether I'm professional. Like I'm embracing the whole thing because I remember watching WBC and seeing these people with their flags and their clothes, and I'm like, wait,
Yeah.
why? I want to be that person. I want to be completely immersed within what this is going to bring.
My bad. You said pants. I thought like the uniform pants. Like, are you gonna
No,
party?
no,
I
no,
had no. I
no.
was like, oh, yo, go ahead, girl. I ain't gonna stop you. But no, it's true though.
You
Like,
see somebody with a dope hat on, and you're like, bruh, where you got the hat at? Well, the ladies, we see somebody with a nice fit, and we like, girl, where you got them jeans from? So it's kind of the look I'm
yo,
going
shout
for.
out to that. No, but it's so true. I mean, like I said, I was joking before, but sometimes it gets kind of hard to say USA in the crowd. So whenever I
Mhm.
get an excuse to do that, and it like actually means something, and it's not weird, every once in a while, not every day. It's kind of we got to move on though, but before we do, we have to give a shout out to Numbers Game Scorecards, numbergame.co, Black Baseball Mixtape in that promo code box. This is the tip of the iceberg. Let us know who you think is going to win the WBC, because I'm sure I'll be scoring games with my Numbers Game Scorecards. But speaking about ball around the world, I want to say this quote. Amy, you were at the AMG Bank College Baseball Series at Globe Life Field this weekend. I actually got the name wrong, I think, twice.
No,
but
it's the Bruce Bolt.
The Bruce Bolt
College Baseball Classic.
Oh, yeah, there we go. The Bruce Bolt Baseball College Classic. Okay, so talk to me about that when you were there on the ground getting interviews. What's up?
Yeah, so this past weekend at Dyken Park in Houston, Texas, I was at the Bruce Bolt College Baseball Classic. It was an exciting event. There was a photo booth. I went into the photo booth and it was free. You did not have to pay for it. It was really, really exciting. You also got to see a lot of the products that Bruce Bolt got to offer, the gloves, the balls, etc. And they actually gave away a free sliding mitt to everybody who went, and they had tons of them. So I was able to grab one, and I'll probably pass it on to one of my students. Excited to be able to do that. But the teams that were there were the University of Texas, Baylor, Ole Miss, Coastal Carolina, UTSA, University of Texas, at San Antonio, and Ohio State. I got some great interviews from that particular game. I want to be on air saying Coastal Carolina, some of the nicest guys that I met while at the tournament. Just very gracious, open. They're cheering on one of their teammates who will be playing for Team Italy. So it was really exciting to hear them talk about that. Even seeing the fans in the stadium who were there. The best game for me was the Friday night game. It was Baylor versus Ole Miss. It actually went into extras. Baylor ended up winning 6-5 in extras. So for those of you who tend to miss out on these particular games, like, always show up and show out. There was a lot of things there for the kids too. And I think that's another thing with these college baseball games. They want to make sure that they encourage a family atmosphere at all times. But it was just a great showing out, multiple things. Bruce Bolt had their own section, and you were able to see all of that. I have an interview coming out on Wednesday with the VP of Bruce Bolt, Eric Mays. He's also the GM for the Atlanta Smoke. So you definitely want to make sure that you are locked into 10th Inning Talk so that you don't miss any of that.
What's the vibe like sitting down? I know we're going to check out the interview on 10th Inning Talk, but what was the vibe sitting down with the guy that was instrumental putting his name on this tournament?
He's super intelligent, super bright, has a lot of great ideas, and he's just really passionate about moving the game forward for both men and women. And one of the questions I asked him was, why Houston? Why this place? And what can we do to continue to promote the game in the way that we are? Because baseball and softball, they're both growing sports, and the time is now to ensure that we are able to enable that. But him being the VP, it also gives people the proper product so that they can succeed. So it's a win-win all the way around for that. And just picking his brain, knowing that he's able to give out this information freely, it was a beautiful thing. And I was enamored at them giving away the free stuff. Like, there were so many kids there, but just seeing them being able to have access to things that they typically don't, kids of all races and ethnicities, it was really beautiful. And I'm happy that they were able to put on a program. And let me also say, Eric was in the grind. He was like literally giving the stuff, not doing the presidential thing, shaking the hand and getting people on. I'm talking about like sweating, making sure everybody was okay. So I think a lot of times you see people disconnected from that part, but no, he was literally in the moment assisting people as well.
I ain't that hard to sweat in Houston. I do it all the time. I'm just saying. That's cool. That's what's up. Because I feel like you're out there getting the word out and just seeing what the grind is for the next generation. That's what this channel's about, and that's what Bruce Bolt's about. So props to them for doing that. And of course, you, Malik, out there interviewing Kelly Trammell. I'm kind of lazy. I feel like I'm not interviewing nobody out there. I gotta change that. So, no, props, man. So yes, I did get my notes maxed up because I was watching the ABG Bank College Baseball Series at Globe Life Field this weekend. Because homegirl, Miss Red was like, you gotta get into college baseball. And I was like, I don't know how, why. But then the local team, UCLA's up the street. And so they played this one and they actually won the whole thing. And I sat and watched 2 of the games, and it was kind of tricky to find college ball because, there's like Big Ten networks and there's all conference based. Like, I don't know what school conference the school is in. No one tells me nothing. I found it out though, thanks to me. But it was very cool. Very cool. I mean, that UCLA team is just, they're an offensive powerhouse, man. I mean, defense is cool too, but they just beat teams into submission, and that is just fun to watch every once in a while. You know what I mean? So I cannot.
One more thing. Also, the Baylor coach, super nice. Like, he was like, who are you with? What's the name? Like, Coach Thompson, super nice guy. A lot of times, people are out there to like, I'm focused. Malik knows I'm focused. I'm not trying to answer questions. But he was asking the right questions. He couldn't give me the interview at the time, but he was more interested in making sure that I was comfortable to be able to have the space to do what I needed to do. And I really, really appreciated that, especially being, with the only one out there. And a lot of times it's challenging getting to maneuver that, but I'm very grateful to him for that. So
actually, I want to lean into that for a second, because a lot of times you have people listening here that do their own content. Like what are the challenges out there trying to get interviews and trying to deal with handlers, or if they are handlers, like what's that like, get on the ground and trying to get like the scoop?
So if you are ever given the opportunity to go there, make sure you go early. Do not go at game time. If they tell you, oh, you have the whole weekend, go whatever the first day is. Make sure you get your credentials and make sure you scope the scene, because on Friday, I wasn't able to get to the field in the way that I normally would. Normally, and Malik knows, you're able to just get in by the dugout. They had it padlocked. And I'm friendly. Y'all know me, I talk to anybody. I'm friendly with the attendant. So they kind of guided me into where I needed to go. And everybody was extremely helpful. Like, even I was having a migraine. The people were like, do we need to get you something? Can we help you? So that was really, really cool. There was a place for me to be able to charge my phone. There was also a place for me. Once I got down there, though, they're definitely looking for your credentials. But once you're down there, a lot of times that's where you face the challenges, because for college, what I found differently than pro is you're only allowed to question at certain times. They may have a limited amount of questions that you're able to ask depending on the teams. And some people are truly focused where they don't want to answer the questions at all. And so you have to be prepared for the no or the yes. You're happy when you get the yes, but if you get the no, you're gracious and you move on, and hopefully you get the next one. So being understanding of that is important. After the game, you try to do interviews, but some teams also have their own press that they want to make sure gets in front of that too. So all of that is essential in the grand scheme of things. But essentially, that first day, don't ever wait and think like, oh, I'll just play. You wait and you won't have access. You won't know how to be able to maneuver your way around. So for anybody out there listening, just make sure you know the right people to talk to, be kind, and also appreciate the yeses and the nos that come with it. It's a learning experience.
Yeah.
Lobo, you have the opportunity to interview Rock Shalowski. He's playing at UCLA.
Okay, I'm gonna try that now, because I feel like I'm behind.
I think that's the guy you need to zero in on. He's probably going to be the number 1 draft pick, and he's probably going to go to the White Sox. He's playing up the street from your house.
Y'all
So
give me homework on the
now,
show.
now you gotta go get. Now you gotta talk to him. He's gonna be number one pick. Watch.
He's
Okay.
playing out of his mind right now. So yes,
He's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong, but oh man, I just got on. I just got here. Oh man, let me just out for. Let me get a drink. Let me get a drink.
How was it though for you, the experience? Because baseball, it has a different kind of feel to me than college. What was it like for you watching this particular classic, since you're new to the game?
Yeah, well, okay. So one of the things for me is that both of my schools, we had teams. I went to Flagler College in Florida, Chapman University in Southern California, but they're not really good. So like, I didn't really have, how people are like, oh man, roll tide or whatever. I just never had that with my colleges. It was more like just get your degree and get the heck out. So I picked UCLA at random only because it was the one down the street from my house. So like, I just so happened to get lucky. But that said, you're seeing people show up dressed like the colors of the school, painting their faces. And it isn't like football games where that's like normal. It's like, it's you and 200 people out there in the field. You're just going nuts. And it's kind of cool to see, man. It was kind of cool. And UCLA made it easy because they play very exciting ball and they win. And you see mercy rules in college still exist. That's pretty cool. But I'm still trying to learn the nuances. I haven't gone to a full college game yet, so that might change.
Well, I'm always a text message away for any questions. I'm always ready to give that in too.
Oh my God, what's happening? Who's that? We got to move on real quick in the interest of time. Malik, you were telling me this in the group chat before we started. A certain post from the New York Post about one of our friends of the show, CC, talked to me. Malik, what's going on, man?
Oh, I don't know if I think I may have seen that. April, did you share something about
I
CC?
sent it.
Oh, okay, that was you.
Yeah.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about that.
So it was stated by a Washington Post guy
New York Post.
that it's a sad state of our standard for greatness. What's his name? Phil Munchik?
Yeah, from New York Post, Phil Mushnick.
Yeah. I was very disappointed to see that because I felt like it was highly insulting to a baseball Hall of Fame player. We're not talking about just a New York Yankees, y'all. We're talking about a baseball Hall of Fame player. And to me, there's a certain level of dignity and honor that is owed to people who have earned their right for that. So to think that the Yankees shouldn't retire his number is absolutely absurd. And I'm not gonna lie, I saw the headline and I'm like, I'm not reading this crap because that's what I felt it was. I don't know if I would say that, but I feel like when we talk about the Hall of Fame and players, like there's a reason why certain people aren't in because they hold this standard to a certain level of dignity and honor. But for you to say something like this about him is just, I feel like there are lines that are crossed. And that was one to me. And I feel like that gives even people like us in this space a bad name at times, because this is why sometimes players are uncomfortable speaking to us, because these narratives and things, and even somebody was on the show a couple of weeks ago and he was talking Jake Mentor, when he was talking about how you just don't insult the player. Like there are lines that you don't cross. And that to me was just beyond the line being crossed.
So for context, Cesar Sabathia, who was a friend of the show through the Players Alliance, was getting his number retired with the New York Yankees. Now, the New York Yankees have one of the most retired numbers in all of professional sports, 22 retired numbers. I mean, numbers 1 through 10 are all retired, just for example, including like guys like Derek Jeter, who's like the last single digit. So I was looking at this like maybe he meant that. Maybe they're just saying there's too many things. But once you go into Phil Mushnick and understanding how long he's been on this wavelength, because I mean he was a writer since I was a kid in New York, he really meant what he said with his full chest. He didn't feel that CC Sabathia was on par to represent the Yankees and to able to have his number retired. And I go, why? I mean, it takes a lot to be a torchbearer for a franchise that is historically successful, but there are gaps in there where the the cultural relevancy kind of wobbles. And CC was
Right.
that dog, and he was a torchbearer for a team, which is kind of like why I think David Wright should be in the Hall of Fame. But that's not the issue for the time. But yeah, I think totally deserving of the honor and achievement. Malik, man, I feel like I know the answer, but I feel the heat coming from the New York Post, given their background, given their editorial stance. I think CC got a raw deal. What say you?
Yeah, and it is the New York Post, so we kind of have to take it with a grain of salt here. They've had a history of having like explosive or like controversial headlines to get, I guess reads. But either way, I guess regardless of like validating what their audience is and what their history is with just like misrepresentation, I think these are the kind of articles that can be corrosive. For
Yeah.
example, I think about an example from my opinion. I believe that Barry Bonds could have Hall of Fame, at least Hall of Fame consideration if the media was written a lot more kindly about him during his
Yeah.
time. Granted, maybe his attitude and all these things, were well documented, and but the thing is, he's one of the greatest players we've seen in our history. Notwithstanding, the accusations of allegedly taking performance enhancing drugs, but I mean, we have a lot of players in the Hall that have taken performance enhancing drugs. Exactly. So I think that the media, what people write about you now, granted, it might, be just a headline that people forget, but the more that happens, it can create narratives that can prevent players from getting the recognition and respect that they deserve. And so
Mhm.
this is just, I think, another example of a company that's deciding to just kind of put things out there, I guess, for their views and their clicks. But at the end of the day, this is going to be out there against CC. But regardless, he's getting his number retired. The
Right.
organization recognizes his contributions to baseball into New York. So whatever the New York Post writes, it really doesn't matter. CC's the dog, and he's always gonna be a dog. So shout out to CC.
Yeah, definitely friend of the show. It's always interesting. Again, I'm not a Yankee fan, thank goodness, but I do feel like there's so many people that hide behind tradition and what it should and shouldn't
Right.
be when it comes
Mhm.
to our players and what happens. I mean, I remember when Jazz first got traded, it was a big controversy. Can Jazz be himself? It's like, why? He's a grown man, but it's the Yankees, bro. Like it was a thing for like 2 weeks before Jazz has made it happen and made that role into his own. It's kind of a sad thing to see in 2026, but it is what it is. Still room for USA, the World Baseball Classic. You know what I mean?
But
Um,
also, shout out to CC's response. Dang, Phil, sorry you feel that way. See you 9/26/26. I thought that was extremely classy because, like, dang, you feel that way, but it's still going.
yeah, exactly.
And
Right.
that's pretty much it. Like, that's pretty much it. There's nothing more to say about it. You can have your feelings about regardless of what it is, but I take a true stance on the fact that if you've made it into that position, there should be some level of honor that is owed to what he has accomplished.
That to me is a fantastic image. You imagine the night, Yankee Stadium, bright lights, 45,000 people just cheering for CC, and there's one guy in the corner. Damn. You
Right.
deserve it. Stop.
Boo!
Exactly.
And then if
Awful.
when you mentioned the numbers that were retired, like if we go down that list, it's not like it's anybody that there've been like random nobodies. These are people who obviously have earned that right, and I appreciate teams who are honoring players in that particular way too.
Just because we're a show that goes the distance here. So Billy Martin, Derek Jeter, Babe Ruth, Lou
Hmm.
Gehrig, Joe DiMaggio, Joe Torre, Mickey Mantle, Yogi Berra, and Bill Dickey. They're both for number 8. Roger Maris, Phil Rizzuto, Thurman Munson, throwback, Whitey Ford, Jorge Posada. Really? Wow. Okay. I mean, all right.
Yeah.
Paul
Yeah.
O'Neill,
Yeah,
Don Mattingly, Elson Howard for sure. Casey Single, who also got his number retired with the Mets as well. Mariano Rivera, Reggie Jackson, Andy Pettit,
Andy
Ron
Pettit.
Guidry, Bernie Williams. All right, another brother, CC Sabathia. So that's 22 and counting. That's a
right.
lot,
So who would you
but
take off this list? I mean, I'm not taking nobody off that list. They just happen to be a team that had excellent players, and they've earned that right.
I'll take Jeter off because I'm a hater. No, I'm just kidding. No, everyone who's got the number retired deserves it, and that's hard to do. As much as the Yankees have this era of like prestige, like they have their own internal processes where they
Right.
just like filter people out. Like A-Rod will never be honored the way Jeter would be, you know what I mean, for a bunch of reasons. And that's something that the organization means. So the fact they gave him that, not give him, the fact that TC earned that says a lot about his career. So
Yes.
yeah. Well, as we wind this down here, Malik, man, I always love hanging out with you because you stepped up the game over at the Substack, blackbaselmixtape.substack.com. Talk to me. What's going on over there? You're building it brick by brick. I mean, Cheese is helping out too, but I'm saying it's all you, baby. Talk to me.
So we're dropping some articles, trying to get that pin up. So we just dropped an article, "The Foodie's Guide to the Top 10 Ish Shortstops Entering 2026." These lists are hard. I'm not gonna lie. It definitely. I've seen how other folks do it. Sometimes they get a team together. I know the guys at Just Baseball. They get like a whole team together and they do rankings and they have to really like follow like the mean score. But it's really hard to rank these players. So I was trying to see how we can compare players to some of my favorite foods out there. And so go ahead and check out the article on Substack, on Black Baseball Mixtape Substack and Butter Main Baseball. And feel free to throw your comments in. And if you disagree, please let me know because I love to debate. One of my favorite highlights out of the article, I compared JP Crawford to some. Actually, this was a friend of our podcast, Khalif Stevenson, out of the Bay Area. Shout out to him. He said that JP Crawford is like some good ass fried chicken in the hood because it's reliable. You already know what you're gonna get, and even when everybody else fails you, it's gonna hit. So just check out the
Frenchie?
article. We got some good comparisons in there. They're fun. Maybe you might agree, maybe you might disagree. But I think we got a little bit of heat. I think we cooked a little bit. So check us out on the Substack, and there's more to come there as well.
Yeah. Notice you said a hood fried chicken. No Raisin Canes, none of that stuff. Like actual hood
It's
fried chicken.
churches.
No, the off
Churches,
of
let's go.
MLK, off of MLK Boulevard, the gas station, and some random seedy gas station in the back.
Nah, it's churches with those jalapeno cheese bombers. Like it's reliable and they never do you wrong.
It never does it wrong.
Never
So,
ever.
Black Baseball Mixtape.substack.com. It is free to subscribe, and please make sure you do episodes on this podcast. Is there all the time. We got a nice team of writers. In fact, we got the writers room group. We trying ideas all the time. 10th inning talk is going. April, you talked about the interviews this week, but what could we look forward to this season? What's going on 10th inning?
All right, so I'm going to be at the ballpark quite a bit. So if you see me out, make sure that you shout me out, say hello. I'll be at the Texas Tech Houston game on Sunday to see Najee Kennedy, being that this is her senior season. I'm really, really excited about that. I'm also going to be putting out content from the Bruce Bolt College Baseball Classic. So be on the lookout for that. I got some great interviews with people. And it was just a blessing at how the interviews came out and with the people that I was able to interview. So yeah, this is besides Mr. Eric Mays. There are going to be some other ones out there. And then, of course, I'm going to be having some more player interviews, my own personal takes on things that are happening, and just making sure that everyone is prepared for the AUSL, the newly formed PSL, Professional Softball League, that Eric Mays is the GM over with the Atlanta Smoke. And then, of course, college baseball and softball, because why not? And my Dodgers. And my Dodgers.
Are you going to go to a Tower Buzzers game, the new affiliate now here in Southern California? Ontario Tower Buzzers? No.
I've never been to LA, and I've never been to a Dodgers game in LA, so I need to make that happen.
I mean, you're not going to enjoy getting there, but once you get there, it's a good time. You're like, this traffic is real, bro.
I'll probably have a better chance of going. I'm thinking of doing like an Oklahoma City Spark game of the AUSL, and then doing an OKC Dodgers, because they affiliate of them. Thinking of doing that around the same time. Yeah.
That's what's up. And how long has the 10th inning been open? Are we hitting a 1-year anniversary soon?
The 1-year anniversary is coming up. I was looking at how many downloads I had, and I was actually surprised. So for everybody who's been rocking with me, thank you very much, especially since this is Women's History Month. So continue to rock with me, support me. I've gotten like some DMs from people saying like, oh, I love your work. And not to be long-winded, but I know people have their things, but the support from you guys, there are a lot of guys who are like, I want to help you walk through the door. I am very
Uh,
grateful for each and every one of you who are willing to help me in those areas too.
let's go. Oh, all about team-based spirit, And on my end in the booth, I got an episode planned for you next week. I'm sitting down with Seth Tannenbaum, who wrote the book Bleacher Seats and Luxury Suites, and how baseball has an air of egalitarianism, but they actually are separatists by nature, which is going to be a
Ooh.
fantastic topic to talk about. It was came out of my lap, and he was down to do it, so I'm looking forward to that. But other than that, we back here in the crew, man. Black Baseball Mixtape is doing a lot of things. Shout out to my early prospects and the Players Alliance, because we love CC on this show. You know what I mean? Yeah. And Numbers Game, Scorecard, numbergame.co. Promo code Black Baseball Mixtape. But until next time, man, we out.